And the answer is fuck it, let's do it right now. So what we're gonna do is go through all these static pieces of trash and make sure that every one of them is properly set up. Alright, so time utils is set up properly. Thread utils, I don't see an S thread utils. So thread utils is set up properly. System utils. I just see like some game instance gets. That should be fine. Console utils. No, that's fine. Command line utils. Now this is just using some static bars on the top of the file, which is really not a big deal. What we can do though is we can, this is command line utils, we can avoid some of the issues that get crept in there with using some of these static variables. They get all like smashed into larger CPP files randomly, so we're actually going to fix a lot of these things. So what we're going to do is basically make these static variables, but we're going to make them class member static variables. And the reason I had these screwed up before is because I was just getting stuff set up, and I have no excuse. Thank you for following Butchery HC. Hopefully it's super awesomely entertaining to watch me struggle through fixing crashes and redeclaring variables. Because that's what we're doing for the next bit here. It's gonna be great. So command line utils should be fixed. Alright, so those are all there. String utils, is there any sort of global crap that we're relying on? No. Serialization utils. Doesn't look like. Looks like we got all that done. I'm glad to stomp on Adam's partner. Well, good. Somebody has to. Because we were dishing out the hate the other day on Adam, telling him where the jump button was and how he needs to look closer at his Xbox controller. I don't know if you saw that clip. It was pretty good yesterday. Maybe I should just post that into chat. Because I thought it was funny. Even though it was mean. But we can laugh at other people's misfortune. You can't jump at all while running up. Yeah, that's the clip. I thought it was pretty good. Jumping on it. It was basically I was just giving him a whole raft of crap when he butted in and was doing things like asking me questions. And these all look like they're set up properly. We got the right namespace on all of our stuff. We got our initialized. That's fine. UDP client. Yeah, we don't have anything crazy going on there. TCP client. That's fine. Network utils. We just have. Yeah, okay. So we can fix the network utils real quick. So we just need these two guys. And then all we have to do is throw a namespace on the front. So that should fix network utils. So go ahead and make sure to save that. HTTP, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and fix that with HTTP utils. Well, we're gonna get back to it after we fix some of our other crap, but a lot of the videos of the last week have been basically going from having nothing to having an actual movement system, which is starting to come together pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how it's been going. And what we're working on today is we added a callback system to handle per frame collision box changes and not change if stuff was messed up. So if we have an animation that screws us up in terms of collision, it won't actually change our physics state to the broken things. And then we worked on getting our butt stuck in the boxes if we flipped our object over the z-axis, which is basically turning left and right. And then, yeah, so we got that, and it looks like that's working. Animate the physics box. We did the animation. Now, after we've got the physics boxes that are animating, what we're going to need to do is add in calls to see if an animation can be played in the current location. So like, can I stand up? And then after we do that, we're going to get multiple physics objects running around, like multiple fat sacks running around our scene and running into each other and stuff like that. And then we can start doing things such as, can a fat sack jump off of another fat sack, sort of thing. You know, can you wall jump off of a fat sack or a morgue or something? It is going to be a legitimate thing that we need to actually go create. So this looks okay. Math utils looks fine. Graphics utils. Where are you getting made? Graphics utils. Let's get set. Okay, so you're fine. Global utils. What about you? Hey, you look fine. File utils. File utils looks just fine. Crash utils. Working just fine. Config utils. Alright, so config utils looks like it's all sorts of jacked up. So we'll have to do the same thing here. We're gonna do a static setter and all that. Because we're having those problems where these singletons that I made when I just first started are just not set up properly for how we want our systems. We need to be creating these objects inside of our viewport as a U property so they don't get garbage collected and destroy the known universe. How many people are working on this game? In total right now, it is just me and just Adam. we will most likely be getting a composer here. Hopefully, we'll be entering negotiations on that front within this month. So we'll be getting a composer for that soundtrack, because we're gonna have amazing music for this game. At least that's the plan. But other than that, we do not have anybody else on the team. We may reach out to some other people we know at some point, but it really depends on a lot of things. If we think we can get everything done that we want, etc. It's always easier. It's most efficient, you know, when you're doing it yourself. And smaller teams can get more done. I think that was Nathan McCree. Was that the guy's name? I think. Yeah, it was Nathan McCree, I believe, is the composer we're gonna be talking to more seriously. We've already talked to him already. We reached out there and we got some positive responses from him, but we haven't, you know, entered into some serious negotiations and all that. And of course, until contracts are signed and all that stuff, you never know what's going to happen. So we're looking forward to see what we can do, and we're hoping it's all super awesome amazingness. Alright, so I think config utils is set up properly. Let's check out our build utils. Where's build version and build ID set? Are they in buildutils.h? Yeah, so those are just compiled in. And audio utils. So audio utils is also messed up, so we should go ahead and fix this guy. If you win a whole bunch of money, you're gonna give it all to Adam to make amazing Brackenwood movies. Well, there are worse ways to spend your money. Yeah, well, that's also one of the big things that Adam and I have talked about, is anybody who we have work on any part of the project has to be a fan. They have to want, they got to know about the game, you know, they got to know about the world and all that. Like, it's very important that that be true. Because you know, we're gonna have awesome stuff. We're gonna want it to be our awesome stuff, and ours meaning fans. So if we were going to bring on any other person, engineer, designer, anybody else, they're gonna have to be fans. They're gonna have to be people we trust. Another thing, if we ever brought any other people on, a big part of it is financial stability. Like, I think that was one of the problems with the previous iteration of the game. The game that was canceled is totally separate. But a lot of that, I think, like talking to Adam about it, I wasn't on that. I was not a part of any of it, actually. But I think a lot of it had to do with just they weren't able, either Adam or Sean, to be kind of full-time developers on it because they always had just so many side jobs and the rest there. So it's one of the big things about what we're doing now is, I'm full-time on it. I'm not doing anything else. And Adam is almost full-time on it. So we need to go people client, utils. Alright, let's see what we screwed up. Bound to be a gold game. Well, we gotta get there to get there. Games are tricky and risky business. For every game that actually ships, no matter how bad, there's probably 10 others on the shelf that never made it out, and a lot of them are good games that never made it out too. Because everything has to work out for a game to ship. You've got to be able to actually make it. The game's got to be of a certain, you actually have to have funding for it. You got to be able to actually create all the content. You've got to do just tons of stuff, and you can be missing some of those components. Like you can have all the right people and all the right knowledge and a great design, and then you don't have the money to do it. You can have the money and the people, but the design is crap. There's just so many things. Probably also don't want this guy right here. We want to do something like this. So we're in the command line utils. Yeah, so we went into doing code cleanup because, well, I'm not really sure. We just kind of started doing it. So we're just going to continue until we're done with what we want. Excellent. So once we get this cleaned up, we can go back to other things. Static function redeclaration not allowed. But it's because it has to be static. Easy enough. Yeah, and if people are wondering about how far along we are in game development on the game at the moment, we started working on the game like officially kind of the 2nd of January is where my journal starts up. So we've been working on it for like 4 whole months, and we are just now in the prototype phase. We had to do a lot of design, pre-production. Like we're not even we're not in production yet or anything. We're still prototyping. A lot of design overhaul stuff from the previous game. Just none of the design stuff worked out. And there's just so many months of getting stuff set up and figuring out what we can actually do in Unreal, getting our nuts and bolts set up for like, okay, controller input, okay, we got that, okay, configuration, awesome, okay, graphics and display settings, like that we can go full screen, and then we can go windowed, and then we can borderless window, changing all the resolutions and just getting all of those set up. Like we did all that first, so nothing's fake in the project. It's not like a lot of prototypes where you're like, okay, well, to start up the game, you have to start it up, and it only works on your primary monitor, and only, it just does all this crazy bullshit. Like, no, it's actually all real, what we're seeing. None of it's just absolute garbage. So we're just going through and double checking, because we changed stuff that has to do with our global variables, changing how those are instantiated, and the best way is to just, everything should be fine, but let's just start up the game over and over again and see if there's any crashes, because that's what caused it before. We're just doing our due diligence. Yeah. And it looks like, yeah, everything got set up properly for our globals there. Otherwise, we'd be toast. Cool. That's looking like it's working out quite well for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert all my unchanged work, and I'm going to check it all in, because we're at a good point here. So work in progress on setting up all the things for movement. Our butts are not getting stuck anymore. Alright, well I am starting to get pretty hungry, so I'm gonna go put some food on real quick, and I'll be back, because I'm starting to starve to death. So I'll be running up there and taking the food off when it's ready. So what I need is a call to see if an animation can be played in the current location. So this is an interesting one. Basically what we need to do is we're gonna, for instance, if we've got like a floor here and then we've got like a log above it and we've got like Bitey or whatever, and he's crawling, you know, through here or sliding, we're gonna want to know if he can stand up. So what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna say like can play animations standing or something like that, or idle or whatever, and we're gonna want to check that there's no overlaps if we start playing that animation. And we want to be able to say, nope, 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 you can't stand in this location, so we're not going to let you. So the question is, where should we put that animation, that thing? We could put it in the animation controller, we could put it in movement. I think we should put it in movement. So we should just have like a new function here that's can play animation. And let's see, what were they actually looking like? It was like get animation for set. So it's in like an F animation wrapper, which is what we're actually grabbing off of here. And it's like play with loop anim ID. So yeah, so it's gonna be like can play animation. Getters and setters, public, call to jump. Where's like can jump? Alright, so can jump is there. So like cd calls to check if an animation calls for animations. Let's say like bool can play animation. And let's pass in, we'll need like an F animation wrapper. That would be one thing that we want to check. We're going to want an animation set. I think that's in Dashkin animation constants. Where is generated? So there's animation type. So it's going to be like type and set. And I think we're also going to have like just type. And we may also want animation ID, so like 32 animation ID. And then we'll need to write these functions. And we're going to see if it's possible to play these animations based on our physics locations. So this will let us know if we can stand, or sit, or fall into the water, or just whatever. So we're just going to return false on everything right now. And I'll go run, check, see if food is not burning to death at the moment. I'll be back in another 30 seconds. Well, food is actually done, so I'm gonna be here just munching away on this. So if you guys have any questions or something else, I can answer them, but I'm not gonna be doing too much coding for the next 10 minutes here. Now my mic is back on. We're gonna get back to work here. I just ate a whole bunch of really spicy garlic noodles, so I'm currently suffering in a good way. So to check if we can play an animation, basically we're gonna go over all the different collision things in that animation that are physics objects, collide them against the world, and see if we can actually play it. That's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. Let's see, type in, we're going to want to get like, get current animation set. It's going to be something we're going to need based on our velocity. So we need one of those. It's going to be like, oh man, yeah, so spicy. So now when I'm actually like talking, it's spicier. I'm like, ah, fuck. Ah, this is awful. So get current animation set for velocity. And we're going to implement this later. But yeah, we need to turn an animation set, which is going to be, let's just get stationary. It's our default. We might actually be able to implement this now. We're gonna double check. I think I've got the data I need in M movement. You know, we've got this movement data object. And inside of that movement object should be the limits for our velocity. Oh, come on, Visual Studio. Can you not freeze on me here, buddy? Apparently not. Apparently it's too much to ask to open a file. Yeah, it's, god fucking damn it. IntelliSense is just garbage. Just absolute shit. It's like levelactor.cpp does not have movement data. Movement data is inside of our frickin' movement, like, data structures. I guess it's just right fucking here. And yeah, we've got walk, trot, run, and dash speed. So basically what we want to do is we want to get our float, abs, velocity, and we're going to get our M, current velocity, just our size. And basically we're going to say if M movement data was null pointer, we're just going to return our stationary. Otherwise what we're going to return is, we're going to go from fastest to slowest. So we're going to say if velocity is greater than or equal to the movement data dash speed, then we're going to return dash. If velocity is greater than movement data, let's see, we got run speed. Return AS run. So else if velocity is greater than or equal to M movement data trot speed. AS trot. else velocity is greater than or equal to movement data, walk speed, and return walk. AS walk. Otherwise, return AS stationary. So this one is just going to be can play animation, and we're just going to call it get animation set for velocity. This one is going to need to get an animation set. An animation wrapper based on the thing. So it's going to be like right here. Call ambientenergy. Yeah, so if ambientenergy is null pointer, we're just going to return false. We get our animation data. Get it for our animation set. We're gonna get animations for our set. These are like, we're gonna need, is it anim data? Get animations for type, and that's gonna be, we want both type and set for these. As far as our entity animation data, I think it's on our constants. Let's see, no, it's not. Entity data? Yeah, so it's in here. Do we have it? Get for type. I want get for type and for set. So I'm gonna pass in both. And in order to modify this file, I actually have to change all the things.